Morning, Econ students. Here to talk to you today about Review FRQ number 11, which I picked. It's a good one because you never know if comparative advantage is going to show up. You got two FRQs. This is the only one from Unit 6 that could possibly show up. So let's get to it. Most of the people who responded yesterday, pretty good job. But just to help process it a little bit, let's go over it. So you have a table that shows how many donuts or cupcakes John and Erica can produce in one day. Basic idea, this is an output problem because we're talking about how much you can produce per day, per product, per resources. If it was days per donut or days per cupcake, that would be an input problem. That makes a big difference in terms of what you're looking for absolute advantage and comparative advantage. So let's take a look at the table. So John clearly can make more donuts per day and more cupcakes per day. Because he's producing more per day, that means John has an absolute advantage in donuts. He makes more donuts. He makes more cupcakes. So that's your answers to part A and B. Okay, absolute advantage. With output problems, absolute advantage means you're making more product. With input problems, or absolute advantage means you're producing more efficiently. So input, you're looking for the smaller number. Okay, but this is an output problem. Bigger number. Absolute advantage. John's better at donuts. John's better at cupcakes. Because it's an output problem, okay, remember output when we're determining comparative advantage. Because the idea of comparative advantage, focusing on who's the best at it, okay? Or who's just not as bad at it. Focusing on what you're most best at, to kind of butcher the English language there. So output goes over. So you take cupcakes, goes over donuts, donuts goes over cupcakes. And this is how we determine opportunity cost. Okay, so it ends up looking like that. The 100 1 over the 200, 200 1 over the 100. Okay, and so we reduce just to make things a little easier. All right. So basically what this means, by comparative advantage, all we're looking at is who has the lower opportunity cost. So if you're John and you want to make a cupcake, you have to give up 2 donuts. If you're Erica and you want to make a cupcake, you have to give up 3 donuts. Now, when we're talking about comparative advantage, we want the smaller number. Smaller number means lower opportunity cost. Okay, so in this case, John, since 2 is less than 3, hard math there, John should make cupcakes. John would have the comparative advantage in cupcakes because he only has to give up 2, as opposed to Erica giving up 3. Conversely, Erica, 1/3 is less than 1/2. Okay, so Erica has the comparative advantage in donuts. It only costs, if she wants to make a donut, it only costs her 1/3 of a cupcake, whereas John, it costs him half a cupcake. You know, it sounds goofy thinking of half cupcakes and thirds of donuts. That's why it's probably easier to look on this side at least a little bit. Yeah, it makes more sense that John, if he wants to make a cupcake, instead of donuts, he's gonna lose. That's the opportunity cost. He's gonna lose 2 donuts, makes a cupcake. Erica loses more. She loses 3. Now this plays a big role in what comes next, which is the hardest part of this question, which is the terms of trade idea, which is something I didn't really talk about. It was in one of the video in the College Board Review video, but it's worth taking a look at now. So the idea is, if we set up trade, is it beneficial to both sides? Because the idea is both people are supposed to benefit from trade, but it's only if it's a fair trade. So the proposal on the table is what? One cupcake for 4 donuts. So that's the proposal on the table. 1 cupcake for 4 donuts. Make that D a little better. Still looks like a 40. So 1 cupcake for 4 donuts. Now, if you're John, do you like this trade? Okay, every Erica, you like this trade. Now, it's like, John, one of the ways I like to set up terms of trade type of questions is by looking who has comparative advantage. And so if you're John, you make 1 cupcake, you have to give up 2 donuts. Okay, so John looks like that, where John is making, we'll just underline there, John makes cupcakes. So that's kind of a normal trade-off for John. If he wants to make a cupcake, he has to give up 2 donuts. Erica, 1 cupcake equals 3 donuts. Okay, I underlined her 3D there because that means she's the one who's making donuts. So when we're looking at terms of trade, we're trying to figure out, would it benefit each side? Now, normally John, if he wants to, he's making cupcakes. Normally a cupcake costs 2 donuts. In this case, he's able to get 4 donuts. So if I'm John and, now I can get pretty much twice as many donuts for 1 cupcake. Whereas before, if I'm making it on my own, I would only get 2 donuts, okay, per cupcake. So this is a good trade for John. He's doubling the amount of donuts he normally would get. That means it's beneficial to John. Erica, on the other hand, who makes donuts, is now being told, Erica, she wants to make 3 donuts, she gives up 1 cupcake. And now she's being told, oh my gosh, you have to give up 4 donuts for a cupcake. It costs her more. See, because 4 is greater than 3. It costs her more donuts to get a cupcake, so this trade would not benefit Erica. So that's how I set up. We'll see. It would be kind of random if this type of trade showed up, but that's the way you solve those problems. You look at the opportunity cost and what they would normally get for trade to determine, is this a fair trade or not. So good for John, bad for Erica. And then the last part of the question would be, production possibilities curves, donuts on one graph, and there's our production possibilities curve normally for cupcakes and donuts. In this scenario, Erica has found a production technique that will increase her daily production of cupcakes only. Okay, so in a situation like that, she's only making more cupcakes, so it should look something like this. Let me label this, curve number 1 and curve number 2. Okay, she would be making more cupcakes, but it did not affect donut production. Okay, so it should look something like that. Now I'm going to keep posting these. We got less than a week now till the AP test. Now would be a great time. If anything's on your mind or any concepts you want to make sure you understand, let me know. Okay, I'm going to keep going through practice FRQs with you guys, trying to help you as best I can, but it would help me a lot to know what you need help with. Okay, if there's anything you're struggling with or you just want clarification on, so please shoot me an email, let me know how things are going, and I'll see you guys again next week. Have a great weekend.